Hi guys. Okay, I just got done recording a video and it didn't save, so I have to do this all over again. So have to pardon me if I'm a little frustrated. Okay, today I wanted to do a video over a general diet for your Russian tortoise. This is going to just be, like I said, a general overview. This is not going to go into a lot of detail just because I'm still learning and there's always more stuff out there that you can feed them. There's also stuff that you can't. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth on what you can't feed them, but I'm going to give you a good, solid base on what is a good feed for day-to-day. Now, as a general rule, you shouldn't feed your tortoise the same thing every day, but a lot of us don't have that option just because we don't have 20 different greens growing in our garden. I have 3, and I have to rely a lot on grocery store greens. I know there's a lot of other people in that boat as well. So, first off, what a lot of pet stores might suggest to you is to feed them spring mix. That's what mine suggested. However, you might notice the big chain pet stores are going to say maybe tortoise pellets would be the way to go. As a general rule, don't ever feed them anything in pellet form. It's usually not good for them. It's not specific for their subspecies. And in the long run, it's not going to be as good for them as like fresh, dark, leafy greens. The only really acceptable pellet in the tortoise community is Mazuri, and that's the name M-A-Z-U-R-I. You type that in, it's a lot of really good greens for them, just compacted. It's going to give them fiber, which is good for them. High fiber, no low protein, not the other way around. Another good thing if you're feeding grocery store greens is TNT. You can get that from Carolina Pet Supply. Talk more about them later, but that's just a lot of dried greens that's really good for them. So adding that, you're probably not going to want to do it every day of the week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week if you're feeding grocery store greens. It's just going to help bump up the nutritional value for them. It's going to be good for them. As a general base for grocery store greens, I use the Mediterranean mix by Dole because it gives you radicchio, endive, escarole, and green and red leaf lettuce, which green and red leaf lettuce you're not going to want to feed by itself because it's lower in nutritional value. It's in the same group with romaine, iceberg, etc. Those have more water content than anything. They're fine for us, but if you were to feed red and green leaf and romaine and iceberg on like a daily basis as their base, they're not going to gain weight. They're going to be hydrated, it has a higher water content, but it's not going to be good for them nutritionally because there's really not any nutritional value to that. What I do is I mix in some of the greens that I've grown. I grow endive and escarole and catgrass. Catgrass is a good thing. Also, if you want to plant that in their enclosures, it's good for them too. Let's see. I mix that in. Also, some weeds from my yard. I mix in plantain, the vegetable, the weed. There's 2 different variations in my area. There's broadleaf, where it's kind of like an oval shape like this. It's a really terrible representation of what it looks like. They don't always get that big. If you Google plantain weeds, you're gonna get both of those 2 different kinds. You're gonna get the pictures, and it's gonna show you what they look like, and you're probably gonna look out and be like, "Oh my gosh, I have a million of those." This is what I did. I didn't realize I had that many, but they're literally all over my yard, so I'm lucky. And then also the other kind of plantain, is skinnier leaf. They're gonna come more to a point. And also, like I said, if you Google the plantain weed, you're going to see those as well. It's going to show up in your search results. Also, another base for grocery store greens is, like I said before, spring mix. With spring mix, though, you're going to want to pick out most of the spinach just because their spinach is high in oxalates, and that's not good for them internally, as well as for their shell. It causes some calcium to bind, I think, if I remember correctly. It affects their shell growth. The oxalic acid. This might be for something else, but if I remember correctly, the oxalic acid is also not good for them internally as well. I leave maybe 3 to 4 leaves out of a bag of spinach for my guy, and he really doesn't care. He honestly eats whatever, but so he doesn't really notice a difference, and yours won't either. If you have to, just keep giving them the stuff you know is good for them. Minimal spinach. Remember that. Tough love is the way to go. They're going to learn to love it, or they won't eat, and then they'll eat it anyway because they're hungry. But yeah, the spring mix, you can also mix in the better dark greens for them, like the weeds in your yard. There are more weeds out there you can feed them. I'm not confident enough in my weed identification to be picking things and feeding them to Tortomere, just because, like I said, I'm not as confident with identification of plants. You might be, that might be easier for you. Another good weed from your yard to feed would be clover. Now with clover, there are 2 plants that are similar, and it's clover and then, what's it called? Oxalis. They look very similar, but oxalis has heart-shaped leaves, and clover has the rounded leaves. You're not going to want to feed oxalis because, as the name basically states, has a lot of oxalic acid, which, as I said before, is not good for them. It's going to cause them problems internally. And like I said, if they eat a couple, it's not going to hurt them, but you're not going to want them to eat a lot or give them to them at all if you can avoid it. If they eat some, like 1 or 2 pieces on their own, just try to keep that at bay. Make sure they're not eating it all the time, or eating it at all, really. It's not going to kill them, but over time it's going to affect them internally, and you're going to have a tortoise that's not very healthy. But the clover with the rounded leaves is very good. It's feed in moderation, so once a week is fine. Once every 2 weeks is fine. Just give them a handful with their greens. Some good places for if you're wanting to grow your own seeds, some good resources. I get mine from eBay. I bought endive and escarole. Sometimes if you're lucky you can find some good plants for them. You can find the seed packets at Walmart, Menards, Lowe's, other places like that. Another really good place that I use is Carolina Pet Supply, and they have a lot of good seeds in there. They have, you can buy them in a pound or half a pound seed bags, and they do have one seed mix that is specifically for Russians. They have a broadleaf seed mix, and then they have the individual plant seed packets that you can buy separately. You can buy just one type of seed at a time. If you're looking for a specific plant, that'd be better for you. One thing with the Russian seed mix, though, I've heard that it has a lot of grasses in it, so if you're looking for something a bit more substantial than grass, then you'd want to go with a broadleaf seed mix. It's going to give you some more full greens, and a lot of people say that their tortoises end up eating that more on their own than the Russian tortoise mix, although if you have one like mine, he's probably not going to care. He's just going to eat it. Good places for care advice, tortoiseforum.org. That's where I went the first time. That's where I went when I first got Tortomere, and they give you really good advice. There's breeders on there that have been doing this for 20 plus years. You're always going to get a lot of different input, so it's not just going to be relying on one person to give you advice all the time, which is good, because then other people can back that up or bring in their own experiences into the mix, and that's always good, because you want to always get different sides to everything. You don't want to just trust one person as opposed to getting more input. Getting more input is always a good thing, and they're going to give you the best advice that they can and what they have had with their experiences. Another good place is Russian Tortoise Owners group on Facebook. I am part of that group. I have learned so much from them. All of this that I've told you is what I've learned from them in the past 5 or so months. And I'm by no means an expert, but they're going to really help you learn the things that you need to know, and every day there's a new thread with a question that I'd not even think about asking, and I learn something new every day. If you ask a question on there, they're going to give you the answers that you need as soon as they can. They have a lot of members, so sometimes it's a little delayed. You might have to post your question again, but they're going to give you the answers to your questions as quickly as possible. And all of the admins on there, or some of the admins on there, have been breeding tortoises for 20 plus years. They're very good at what they do. Also, if you're looking to buy a baby or an older one or adopt, they also do those. Some of the breeders on there, they have rescues, and they'll adopt out, or you can buy babies from them. They're very good. They always come healthy. They take very good care of them, and the group of people is so awesome. I can't think of another word to describe it. They're just very helpful. They're all so supportive, and just a love of tortoises. If you're looking for something that feels like a group of friends that can help each other out whenever they need it, and that's the place to go. Once again, I'm sorry for being absent these past couple weeks. It's been really busy around here. I've been trying to get this done, but I'm going to try to be a bit more regular with my videos, so hopefully I can do that and be successful. But maybe the next video I'm going to make is going to be a little makeup review slash wish list kind of video, but then I'm going to go back again to the tortoise theme, which is what I started this channel for, just because it's my passion. I love working with animals, and tortoises are my favorite, just because they're just like little walking history books. Little dinosaurs, I like to call them. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you'll help other people learn as well. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.